Hello and welcome to Games That Grow Your Business, where we focus on ways, already tripping over my tongue, where we focus on ways to play in business that grow your business. We do expert interviews, gameplay, mindset, and business strategies to create more impact and income in your business. In this episode, I am interviewing Lois Warnock, spirit coach strategist, spirit artist, and creator of the Spirit Guide Soul Divination Oracle deck. Ooh, very exciting. So let me tell you a little bit about Lois, and then I will get her right here, and we will do a reading for you today with her deck. So I am very excited about this. So here's a little bit about Lois. Following her 30-year business career, she chose to pursue the energy healing field in 2005, and after developing a debilitating chronic condition. She obtained several Reiki Master designations, crystal resonance therapy certification, advanced meditative studies, and Primus healing techniques, as well as the Advanced Angel Empowerment Practitioner certification. And this allowed her to find that vibrational healing just for her. And, interestingly, during her life, she has experienced several near-death experiences, domestic violence, breast cancer, several life-threatening infections, and a 20-year chronic lung condition. It was in 2012, on a spiritual trek to Alaska, that she was introduced to the spiritualist teachings and met her master teacher. This was beginning of her soul mission of spiritual psychic art. She has drawn and channeled over 1,000 spirits for clients around the globe, and from this she created her first Spirit Guide Soul Divination Oracle card deck. Woohoo! Wow, that is a whole ass mouthful. Welcome, Lois. So glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for working out the tech, right?
Well, it's funny. I'm having Lois punch all the buttons, and I had to put in my headphones. I don't know how that works, but apparently it was the magic sauce. So here we are.
Something different every day.
Absolutely. So I kind of alluded to all your background that led you to this point in time. But, I actually know that this didn't come without resistance, right? And I'm curious.
You got that right.
I'm curious about how you pushed through that. Like, how did you push through your resistance to really following the path of this spiritual up-level?
Well, it's actually interesting that you asked that specific question because I was just re-listening to it's another compilation book that I'm working on, and that's exactly what we talked about in that interview, was about that resistance and how do you get past it. And I think for me it was kind of always having that, maybe being born with it, I don't know, more of the positive outlook on life, like no matter what was happening or being thrown at you. And I think some of it goes back to um, being brought up in a family of 10 children. So there was a lot of interaction, a lot of things happening, different personalities, learning how to kind of accept and do your own thing, but yet do it in a great big environment, of different things happening. So, for me, I just feel like I just learned how to put one step forward, no matter what was happening. One step forward. That's it. Try not to look too far ahead, because that will throw us. We'll kind of glom onto that. Same thing as kind of looking at all the stuff behind us. There's certain things that are of benefit to that, but the experience and all of that. But really about being in the present and and focusing on the present and how can I get through this day. And even now, with health challenges, I wake up in the morning and go, yay, I'm still breathing. Okay, I got another day to play in my art room and do some fun things. And yeah, some of it'll be work, but that's okay, right? So
So you
keeping
channeled
that,
though a lot, and still do channel a lot of spirit guides, like
yeah.
thousands. And how do you manage that communication piece? Like how do you pull in a person's guide, or even in your own world all the guides that show up for you on a daily basis? How does that work?
Yeah, well, I have learned, and it took a little bit of time, but I have learned how to. I guess the short answer is, I have a master teacher in spirit. He's my gatekeeper. I call him my gatekeeper. He now facilitates the flow of spirit coming in, and who's here, uh, and who is he, who am I channeling for. And even on a daily basis, I can, we have, what I want to say is, we have control. We can say, whoa, this is too much for me. I'm feeling, like tight, or getting, kind of unbalanced. So can I take a step back? Please take a step back. And I didn't know that at the beginning. That was sort of a learned thing, because what I learned was that spirit was so excited that, oh yay, we found somebody to come through for clients and for different things. So they were really excited about the connection. And so I really had to, I just learned to uh, ask spirit to really direct the traffic, if you will.
I love that. And I've always felt connected to my guides and that kind of thing. And yet one of the reasons I decided to work directly with you and to hire you to help me out was that you suggested that perhaps we would go to the halls of learning and
Yeah.
and download some of the information with spirit guide help. And I really, that has been quite a fascinating process. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Um, yeah, absolutely. And that came at the beginning. My one of the spiritual teachers, certainly on my trip to Alaska, she talked about this in a lot of detail. Particularly for me, with everything that I learned there was related to the psychic art. So within a couple days, it switched from my sort of impression of, I'm going to do more energy healing, to psychic art. And so I really paid attention once I got past the resistance of being told this is what you're doing, and me going, well, what the heck is that? I've never done it, and why would I want to do it? And so getting past the resistance, I settled into all of that information. And some of the information is simply that, we can travel out to the halls of whatever it is. Spirit, just because we're in spirit, and for those people that are in spirit, that have moved into the spirit, back to spirit, they get to continue to learn. Well, now we can go out in our dreams, in our meditations, and that was part of the meditative studies as well. We can go out in our dreams in particular and ask to be taken to the halls of learning and learn things overnight. Now, I when I was first told that, I probably had this a little bit of resistance there, going, "Oh, sure, that almost sounds too easy." So, but I stepped into it, and I practiced that with my artwork, because I hadn't, I'd only painted when I was 17 one portrait in high school art. And so for 45 years I was creative, but I never painted or drew or did anything in that respect. And so I would test spirit, I would say, okay, intention, here's my intention. I'm going out at, and I want to learn a specific, I don't even know what it is I want to learn. I just want to be able to have this result on my painting. How do I do that? And so I'd go to bed and, and then come down. I'd kind of forget about, what went on. And of course, I'm not necessarily recalling when I wake up. But as I started to paint, all of a sudden I was doing something that I had never done before without being taught how to do it in the physical. And that was really fascinating for me. So that's kind of part of that intuitive art development, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely. And
yeah,
that's what I've experienced then in working with you as well, is the new techniques, the new knowings that show up inside of that. And even then, just even the messages for the rest of my business too. It wasn't just about painting or about creative process.
right.
It's been about all kinds of different parts of my business. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to do that. How do we do that? How do we get the result we want? And so that has been a really fabulous thing.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm so happy to hear that. And I, the one thing is that as we open our right brain, to the creativity, that's actually where our intuitive psychic abilities lie, in that right brain. And so as we develop our psychic abilities or mediumship abilities, we get more creative. As we get more creative, we get more in tune to our intuitive abilities. So it's like a full circle coming around, and that's that spiral keeps going up and up, and next time we come around, we might feel like we're at the same spot, but yet we're not. We're a level up, or a couple
Right.
levels up, and so we just continue to progress, and we can then pull in our left brain, analytical, type A personalities. We can use all those things, and pull them into our creative works as well. Because sometimes we think we have to have this line. This is that, and we can't merge. But oh, wait a minute, yes, we can, right?
Beautiful.
And vice
Beautiful.
versa.
Right. Well, and this is what led you, of course, to then choose and create an oracle deck out of those thousands of paintings that you and drawings that you had done about spirit, and honing it down into cards. And so this fabulous deck, let me put on the screen. And we are going to do a little reading today for our viewers about their businesses. And so let us come up with a question. So we're actually going to, although I have the deck in physical form, we're going to go to Deckable, which if you don't have
Okay.
Deckable yet, you should probably go download the app. It is an app where you can align with whatever deck is calling to you. You can purchase that. It's in your digital file, and you can take it with you anywhere you go. So I'm actually leaving on vacation tomorrow, and so I get to bring all my decks with me without dragging them through the airport on my carry-on. Right? I'm like, I need this deck and this deck and this deck, and oh no, they're all in my Deckable app. So I'm going to switch over
Yay.
here to our. But while I'm turning this on and getting the app up, Lois, what question do you think that we should look at today for our viewers?
Well, we just went through and we're just at the tail end of that Lionsgate portal. The 8, August the 8th, and I know a lot of people out there might have done some meditations and work within that, and I certainly did and have been working on that. But the question that I was asking was how can I use the energies, whether it's the Lionsgate or otherwise, how can I use the energy, and maybe the energy of spirit, to move my business forward? Like, how do I do that? Like, what is it? And that may be, obviously a big question.
No, I love this. No, this is awesome.
Can spirit give me some? Let's see what cards come up for. How do you do it? And then I'll speak to the cards because
Okay, awesome.
they so they did
Cool.
have me. They actually had me uh, um, uh, do the deck and shuffle the
Okay.
deck, and four cards came out. But then they had me put them back in the deck, and I went, "Well, why are you having me put them back in the deck?" And they said, "Oh, you'll find out. Let's see if they come out again." So we're gonna see if they come out again on
Beautiful.
the
All right.
doing them through Deckable.
So we are seeing now my iPad, and so you can see how it works. I have already selected, I have already purchased this deck, Lois's deck here, the Spirit Guide Soul Divination deck. And so it's in my store here, or my library. And so it's actually a very easy download. You find the app in the App Store, download the app, and then you can go through the store and find decks. So if you want Lois's deck, of course, you'll search up either Lois or the Spirit Guide Soul Divination, and it'll pop right up. It'll prompt you to purchase it, and then we can click on it. So here we are. And so it says, well, what do you want to do? Do we want to do a 1, 2, 3, or a quick draw, or maybe a random? Which one do you think we should do, Lois?
I'm gonna let you pick, so
Okay.
just go for it.
You know what? I'm going to go for 2 this time, and maybe there'll be some other ones that you will physically pull out as well if
Okay.
that's calling as well.
Sure.
So I just clicked the start, and it pulled up 2 cards for us right away, and I love this. How perfect are these cards? How perfect are these cards? So the question was, how can I use the energies of spirit to move my business forward? And
And
yeah, go for it, Lois.
I'm loving it already because Dr. Theo Van Gogh, he actually was one of the cards that I shuffled out just before I started. So so yes, he's here, and he is about um, prosperity and abundance and he is my, what I term in spirit, my financial guide. That was brought through for me when I went to Alaska, and it took a long time for me to connect with him, but he is here to remind everybody in your business, in your life, that absolutely everybody deserves abundance in all ways. And so it isn't about one pot and we have to divvy it up. There's endless abundance, um, to be manifested, to be brought forward. And so that's kind of what and one of the things you can do, oh, this is the business side, right? Is to kind of break out of your ruts and old routines. Leave your old routines. Think outside the box, if you want to call it that. But sometimes we have these habits that we bring into our business from maybe even our personal side, and we kind of get a bit stuck in there. And so also that in previous lifetimes we may have experienced poverty, and so that poverty consciousness comes forward in our, whatever you're believing, but it's there in the energetic sense. And so we can release it, and know that spirit wants you to flourish in your business, in your personal life. And I love that, if you flip that card, I think you can flip it on the screen. Okay, so his is this wolfenite crystal, which is all about, in the crystal studies, is all about creativity, manifesting your thoughts into being, and being the co-creator with the divine. So being the co-creator is, we aren't just sitting there waiting for spirit to magically make things happen, right? We get ideas as a creator, we get ideas, but now we have to take those ideas, those wonderful ideas, and actually put them into the physical um, realm. And so this is a fire element stone, which is all about action.
Nice.
And yeah, and I love it because wolfenite isn't one that I had worked with a lot as a crystal resonance therapy practitioner. It came in sort of after when I was doing the card development, and they chose they each chose which crystal they wanted, and all of these crystals on the cards are my own personal crystals.
That's
So,
awesome.
uh,
Yeah, that
yes,
energy, it lives in them. So the other card, I
exactly.
couldn't love this card more
I know.
for this energies of spirit to move my business forward. Joy. Find
Yeah.
the joy.
Find the joy. And I love, and that's Larry. And some of us, depending on what generation we're from, he came through, and he was actually, he is from the Three Stooges, uh, the old TV show, The Three Stooges. And that is Larry. And he came through for a client that was really having difficulty finding any joy in his life. And it was a really critical message about how our health can suffer if we don't have joy in our life. And you know uh, accepting all aspects of yourself. So here's the thing in business, if we want to relate that to business, is we don't have to be and do everything in business, but we try to. And hey, I've been there as an entrepreneur. Well, we don't feel we can afford it, or that we can hire somebody to do our books, or to do our website, or to do da 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 da, name it, pick one, right? We try to do everything, and in doing that, we tend to burn out. And not just burn out, but we then get caught up in kind of the administrative versus the productive. So that productive, really getting things out to your clients, to your people, so that they can then, so that you can experience receiving that abundance that Van Gogh talks about, right? And joy is a natural healer. So when we talk about the healing part, and that Iceland spar calcite, oh my gosh, that's a beautiful crystal. It's a piece that I got from, with my healing set, when I first started the uh, clinical portion. And it's very cool. Like when you touch, it's like an ice cube. It feels like an ice cube, but it's so soft, and the energy is absolutely calming. And, he just reminds us, as we are joyful, we can clear a lot of these, what we perceive to be blocks or resistance. And it'll stimulate, it can even stimulate your metabolism. And it also helps clear those fear-based thoughts. And you can do that with, kind of that whole surrendering to the divine, which is, a practice in itself. Well, I let go of this. There, I'm going to let them, the divine, take it. But we can't keep calling it back to tweak it. We have to really let it, turn it over, and let them, orchestrate that. So I really love those. And of course, another fire element, which is all about action. And we
Indeed.
need to take action in our businesses, right?
Love that. Love
Yeah.
that. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I was just taking a picture of my screen so I have a
Yeah.
beautiful
And
picture of this
it
reading.
yeah, the interesting thing is that those two are masculine. The gold represents the masculine, and it's not about male female, it's about the type of energy, and it's the masculine energy that really moves things forward. From that fire element aspect. And so, yeah, so don't be afraid to take your masculine energy and use it effectively, right, in your business.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that. So I always love to ask card deck creators then about how you actually use this deck to move your business forward. Like for you as you put this together. And Lois actually went through my whole deck process, which is, not only creating it but then producing it and doing a limited pilot program, which then you order 50 of the decks, you sell them out, and have a little party, right? And
Right, right.
this is exactly what happened, right? Is that after developing, printing, getting your first round, you sold out.
Yes. Yes, actually pretty quickly. And so I've been kind of waiting, for spirit instruction, I guess. Do I put this how do I need to change anything? And actually I have a new website that we're just sort of testing it, and it's looking really good. And so there is a pre-order on there, and I'll be doing some social media campaigns over the next month or so to promote that. And so I'm actually doing a second printing of the deck, and it also led to the journal. So the journal is an expanded, it's a transformational journal, but it's perpetual. So it's not like you start at page 1 and go to page 45 or whatever it is. Well, actually more pages than that, um, but it's about, you can use the deck, you can shuffle, pick a card, and then go to that page, or you can just flip the page, the journal open. And what it does is it gives you a more expanded message from the guides. And these are all channeled messages, that I sit with and bring in. And then it also has an expansion on the crystal work. And then it also has what I'm calling spirit sprints. And this is, it's actually an exercise that Spirit has orchestrated in order to help people um, expand and enhance their spiritual journey. And then there's pages for writing, so you can journal. And then there's some blank pages in each, after each one, so that they can doodle or draw. I really love the art journaling versus traditional writing, and that's just me, because I've always liked to doodle, but so I like to do art journaling, and so it gives you the page. And so that will be, I'm just finishing that up, and that will be ready to print this fall, early this fall, and so to be
Beautiful.
shipped out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so where do people find all this goodness?
So my website is my name, loiswarnock.ca. And it's actually the other ones are all linked now. So they've been, we have a new platform. And so all the other ones, Soul Divinity Healing, .com and loiswarnock.com is actually working too. But
Okay,
now I
and
get
you
to
will find
use
the
my
links
new one.
below. Yeah, if you're watching this, you will find the links below. And if
Yeah.
you love the physicalness of decks and journals, you will find all those there. In addition, the link is below for Lois's deck on Deckable. And so one of the cool things about using Deckable is there is also a journaling prompt here. So I
Yes.
love this capacity to then now, for this reading that we did, I'm going to say, put the question that we asked, which was, how can I use the energies of spirits, right? And so that's what I'll be putting in here, so that I can remember what this reading was about and really support my world in that. So link below if you like digital and you want to try it out there. It's an amazing way to also access this amazing work.
Yeah, and thank you, Jean. And also too is the digital deck, when I created it, I felt like I wasn't being directed to put the booklet. There is a little booklet that comes with the physical deck, but on my new website, I actually give you an option. When you purchase it on digital, you just send me a picture of the receipt or whatever, and then I will send you a PDF of the booklet. And then also a special gift. And I'm doing that for all the decks too, the physical so you'll be getting a separate crystal, and a little goodie to go along with that for this second edition. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, that is so incredible. And, I do love this deck. I love working with you. And so I know that others will love this as well. And thank you so much for coming on and bringing your journey of putting something physical into the world
Yeah.
and creating alongside it with spirit.
Well, thank you, and I absolutely thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I was one of those, I'm an idea person, but getting that physicalness out there. And that's what we've talked about this before. That's what I love about your programs, is that methodical but yet creative process. And I just love the way that that happens. And I see it happening for others too, but certainly in my on my journey. So many blessings for being who you are, and all that fun and creativeness all wrapped into one. Yay.
Yay. Well, thank you all for joining us here in this show. If you have any other questions, add comments and likes. And until we meet next time, I invite you, whoops, not to share my screen. There we go.